Well, today I've got this piece of beech that I got from my friends Pat and Stuart. It's only been cut down about 24 hours, so I thought I'd just turn maybe a little bird's mouth bowl and see if I can get some wet streamers going. Yay! But I've marked up the approximate centres on the piece of wood. I'm using a Crown Evolution steb type drive with the little teeth, which I hope will give me a good enough grip. I'm actually going to grip it on this piece where I've actually had to cut a bit of the side bark off, as I think that will give me a better grip than going through the bark. So I'm just now using a 3/8 bowl gouge, and I'm going to rough out the shape at the bottom and then create a tenon. The wood is really green, so I'm getting sprayed with wet chips and also with spray of water, which is actually flinging out of the wood as I cut it. So just continuing to shape and starting to form the basis of the tenon at the bottom, which will be used to reverse it and hollow out the centre. So now I've got it shaped roughly. You can see it's quite a good finish on the beech off the tool. Just measuring up the tenon, making sure it's exactly the right size for the Axminster seed jaws that I'm about to use, and dress off the bottom so that the little nub that's left at the centre of the tailstock drive doesn't foul with the inside of the chuck, so you get a good seating. Right, now it's in a chuck, I can get on with refining the outside shape. This ran quite true, but I did keep the tailstock in place just to keep it centred to start with, and I always like to keep it up there for as long as I can until it gets in the way. At this point I'm getting sprayed with water coming out of the end grain of the wood as it's spun up. Right, time now to take the tailstock away and hollow out the bowl section, which I'm going to do to start off with a 3/8 bowl gouge. Starting off just with push cuts, and progressively as the hole develops, making sure that I've got some good bevel presentation on the inside wing of the bowl. As I get slightly deeper into the bowl, I'm also doing pull cuts on the left hand side of the bowl gouge to take out the material from the centre. But each time I go back to doing a push cut, you have to make sure that the bevel is presented correctly by moving the handle of the tool right over to the right hand side. As the bowl develops, you get these wings which are prone, as you might see later on, to creating the possibility of a catch. As you get further into the bowl, you get too much overhang from the tool, so I've popped a round bar Axminster adjustable tool rest thing in just to get inside the bowl and help you get around the corner. So at this point I'm doing some pull cuts from the centre to the outside in order to get into the belly, if you like, of the bowl. This is an oops moment coming up now.
Well, that didn't go too well. I knocked it with the tool rest. Huh. Well, I found the bit, and I've just replayed what I did, and I didn't catch it with the tool rest. I think I knocked the tool rest as part of the process of getting the tool out. I probably should have changed to a scraper sooner, or a carbide, but I was actually trying to do a pull cut here, if I remember right. And what happened was, as I came through to the wing here, and as I came through to the wing, I forgot that I was actually cutting air, and the side of the wing caught the side of the piece of wood. So the message there is endeavour to remember what you're cutting when you're cutting it, which is a bit of a shame because that was going quite well. Obviously I could stick that back together, but because it's such wet wood, I don't think there's any point. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the top off and make a shallow bowl out of it, rather than waste the piece of wood entirely. So I shall carry on, and it will be less of a bird's mouth, more of a bird's backside, I think. Right.
So the revised design solution now is a small natural edged bowl with a little hint of the bird's mouth dip in it. So I'm now hollowing it out down to about 3mm, all in the wet wood, and you still need to have a really good tool presentation because there's still some edges there that could catch. So still all about swinging the handle far over to the right hand side of the bedway and getting the bevel rubbing on the first cut as you go in. Ideally you would move the headstock around and make it easier for you to control the tool by having the tool handle tucked into your hip, but I deliberately didn't do that on this lathe, even though I could, because I wanted to show the beginners group that this is for mainly who don't have adjustable headstocks, how you might be able to do it. So getting a really good finish off the tool there with the bowl gouge, but now just some finessing and a little bit of reshaping with the negative rake scrapers. And then just time to get the light in there and check to make sure we've got roughly an even thickness. It's a bit thinner down the bottom, I think, than the sides, but it's pretty good. And then a quick final scrape with the Simon Hope negative rake scraper, followed by a quick power sand with the sanding arbor system. And then I decided to do a bit of final shaping on the bottom just to reduce the tendon down to a very small one before parting it off and finishing it with some hard wax oil before then wrapping it in paper and sticking it under the bench to dry out for a while.